I'm not going to lie to y'all. MAGA had a really good week last week. Pretty much every MAGA candidate, every MAGA supporter, every MAGA ally and donor, they had really good weeks. Except one person. There is one member of that MAGA community that may have had the worst week they've ever had because they suffered back-to-back humiliations by losing, quite literally, everything. And that person was none other than twice failed Arizona Republican candidate Kari Lake. And it all started the day after last week's election on Tuesday. So on Wednesday, while the votes were still being counted in Arizona, Ruben Gallego had a massive lead over Kari Lake that, of course, continued to get smaller, but I'll get more to that in a moment. However, on Wednesday, November 6th, the Arizona Supreme Court held a closed-door hearing where they put the final nail in the coffin for Kari Lake's 2022 election lawsuits. Yes, the Arizona Supreme Court effectively ended her litigation once and for all after entertaining her stupid little lawsuits for 2 years, 24 straight months. That court and the other courts through Arizona, of course, let's give credit where it's due, they allowed Kari Lake to file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit after each and every one of those courts, from the local to the appellate to the state Supreme Court, allowed her to refile it. We'll send it back to the lower court. And she lost every time, even when they sent it back. They told her, they said, you have no evidence to prove anything you're claiming, you lose, but go ahead and refile it, right? We got nothing better to do, apparently, in the court system in Arizona. But that came to an unceremonious end for Kari Lake on Wednesday. She can no longer refile the lawsuits. She can no longer appeal it to anywhere. She has now officially, for like the 20th time, lost the 2022 Arizona gubernatorial election. That was the first humiliation. Because I'm sure at the time, Kari Lake was still sitting there like, okay, that's a big blow. This sucks, but they're still counting the votes. And Ruben Gallego's lead is getting smaller by the day. I might pull this off. And she may have, but she didn't. And over the weekend, the Arizona Senate race was officially called for Ruben Gallego. Now, polls had shown that Gallego, at some points, beating Kari Lake by double digits. You know, at the very least, he was beating her by like 8 or 9 points. The actual election results tell a very different story. Based on what I have seen with almost all of the votes counted, he only won by about 1.5 points, which is a lot less than, 8 or 9 or 12 or 13 points as he had been polling ahead at some point. So polls were horribly off in Arizona, but they did accurately predict which person was going to win, just definitely not the margins. So Ruben Gallego will be the next senator from the state of Arizona, and Kari Lake returns to literally being unemployed. So I don't know what that means for her. She will probably still try to run for office, or maybe, just maybe, she'll try to get a job in Donald Trump's administration. I mean, honestly, if you think about it, her background as a local news anchor, which she thought meant that she should, run the state of Arizona. Thank God the people in the state didn't think that. But she has experience on camera. I mean, she loves her little filters. She knows how to talk to the press even when she's being mean to him. Doesn't that sound like a perfect person for a certain position in Trump's cabinet? You're looking at your next press secretary right here, folks. I'm calling it right now. Here we are, Tuesday, November 12th, and I am predicting that Kari Lake joins Trump's administration, most likely as his press secretary. That is what I think will happen. So she gets a consolation prize after suffering several days of humiliating defeats, but it's a job she probably shouldn't have. It's a job she is definitely going to botch pretty hard, but we're not rid of Kari Lake even as she continuously loses, because somehow, some way in Republican world, people always manage to fail upwards. Thanks for watching today, everybody. And don't forget, if you're not already, please do subscribe to this channel. We have fresh content going up every single day, and I would really hate for you to miss out on that. And speaking of missing out, if you're not following me across all other social media outlets, then get on it. You can follow the links in the description of this video.